Hey everybody, how's it going? I hope you're having a lovely day. Today I'm mourning the loss of one of my favorite shirts. This is a shirt I got from Express. I usually don't shop at Express. I buy shirts at H&M because I can get them on clearance for $5. But this shirt used to fit me exceptionally well and I like the coloring of it. Unfortunately, I put it in the washing machine and the dryer along with some other clothes with a pen, and as you can see, it is now ruined. And one of the things that I hate and despise about fast fashion is that you go to the store and you find something that you absolutely love and they only have one of it, and then you save the tag hoping you can buy it online. You go online and it's out of stock and you email them and they say it's out of stock. I've literally contacted Express and said, if you will remake this particular shirt, I will shill it on a YouTube channel that I've never had a sponsored video on for 13 years. They still said no, which pissed me off, because now I have no way to restore this amazing shirt that I've loved beyond all other shirts to its former glory. That being said, let's get into the topic of today's video, which is BMW deciding to change course on some of their shit subscription business model. This comes from Autocar here, asked how BMW will ensure customers don't feel like they're being made to pay extra for functions they would have previously expected to standard. Peter Nota, the firm's board member for sales and marketing, said, "We have some experience with that, and testing how the customer responds is actually part of the process. We actually are now focusing with those functions on demand on software and service-related products like driving assistance and parking assistance, which you can add later after purchasing the car, or for certain functions that require data transmission that customers are used to paying for in other areas. What we don't do anymore, and that is a very well-known example, is offer seat heating this way. It's either in or out. We offer it by the factory, and you either have it or you don't. We thought that we would provide an extra service to the customer by offering the chance to activate that later, but the user acceptance isn't that high. People feel that they pay double, which was actually not true, but perception is reality, I always say, so that's the reason that we stopped that." So there's two things to look into here. So firstly, we're not stopping the subscription crap. We are simply stopping it for heated seats. They are still going to have a subscription-based business model if you want software and other services in the car. So this is kind of a half victory here. But I really want to address the one point he made, which is that we thought we would offer them a chance to do that, but they feel like they paid double. Now, what is he referring to here? He's referring to the idea that if 90% of your customers are choosing to get seat heaters in the car, that they just manufacture all their cars with seat heaters and only charge you afterwards if you actually wanted the seat heater in your car, so that the people, 90% of the customers that want the seat heater, it's already there. They don't have to have a separate manufacturing line for people who do not want seat heaters. What is being missed here is the fact that when you choose to streamline your operations in that way, you actually wind up saving money, and that cost savings is not passed on to the consumer. Please show me where this year's BMW is cheaper than a BMW from 5 years ago as a result of you streamlining your operations in this way. I'll wait. No, really. This is the reason that consumers are mad, because you are putting the seat heater in the car and then you're charging them money to use the thing that they already got. Now, there was somebody in the comments that pointed out the hypocrisy here, or the seeming hypocrisy, that I want to go over. So people are happy to pay to enable a piece of software to activate the parking hardware already in the car, but not pay to activate a piece of software that enables the seat warmer in their car. And Autocar prints this dirge with a straight face. Now, point taken. There are people that are happy to pay to activate other features in their car, but they say, I draw the line at heated seats. Why is that? When we're talking about parking assistance in the car, we are talking about, again, the car has to be able to detect a lane. It has to be able to see if there's people. There's a lot of stuff that's going to go into these features. If you're using a Tesla and you're using Auto Park, again, I'm not saying that it works great, but I'm saying that there are people out there that had to write serious code to make that happen. In order to make a seat heater work, that's literally a switch and a relay. You are turning on a transistor. Like, that's it. You have a switch or a transistor or a relay of some sort, and it's going to decide pass power through or not. So when you're charging people for that, what you're doing is you're essentially charging them for one of the most basic, fundamental building blocks of programming that even I can do on page 16 of Dennis Ritchie's C programming language, which is why people are getting offended. Again, I'm not saying I'm a fan of subscriptions. I want to be clear here. But when you have something like full self-driving in a Tesla versus turning a seat heater on, can you understand why people are pissed off that in 2023 they are paying for what is essentially a switch? They're paying for a switch. I personally, before I pay you a subscription, I would open my car seat heater, rip that crap up. I would hook that shit up to a light switch that I mount on my dash before I pay you a monthly subscription to be able to turn on a software feature to enable a fucking seat heater. That is why it is offensive. I don't know how to program or code my own parking assistance feature. I am an idiot. I can't do that. It took me 2 weeks to figure out how to program a C histogram that did not have buffer overflows and insecure memory allocation. But I know how to make a switch. And I'm not going to pay you a monthly fee for a fucking switch. Any of you that have ever replaced a light switch in your home over the course of your life understand how to turn on or enable a seat heater. That is literally all it is. It is a switch. And by making it a subscription, you are insulting the intelligence of the people that understand that this is literally a switch. That is why it is offensive, and that is why people are mad over this type of subscription issue, which is, I think, something that's being missed by many people that defend it. Yes, if you're doing this to save money, by all means, do it to save money. But whose money is being saved here? It's not being passed on to the consumer. It's not being passed on to you. You are not saving money when you buy a later generation BMW because they streamline their operations. That's simply allowing BMW to make more money, and I have no problem with BMW making more money, but many people have a problem with the idea of paying a subscription fucking fee to unlock something that is already in the goddamn car when it's literally a switch. And we have a serious problem with a board member speaking out the side of his mouth and pretending that this is all being done for your benefit. It's a service. Just the vocabulary being used here demonstrates the Grand Canyon-sized chasm between where we were with property rights 30 years ago versus now. Service. He calls it a service. He says over here, we thought that we would provide an extra service to the customer by offering the chance to activate it later. It's not a service. It's a switch. It's either on or off. The mere fact that he is still using the word service to refer to this means that they don't understand what actually aggravated customers. They backed down because they saw people were mad, but they still fundamentally don't understand at their core why people are mad at this. The fact that he used the word service to describe a seat heater is the very philosophical chasm that exists between us as customers and board members of a company like BMW. They are never going to understand what makes us aggravated at this as long as they are still using this vocabulary. Do you refer to the light switch on your wall as a service? Do you refer to your thermostat as a service? No, you don't, because you're probably sane. But we are now living in an insane world where switches are referred to as a service, and that is wrong. Now, you could do the mealy mouth thing and say, well, it's not the switch that's a service. It's technically a service for us to enable the switch to work. And the customers have spoken and responded to that with a resounding fuck you. And I hope they continue to. This does not mean we have won. You won one small battle, but just the fact that they still see that as a service, the fact that they still don't really understand what they did wrong means you're probably going to see more of this into the future, and they're probably going to continue doing it. If somebody does something to you and they understand why it was wrong, there's a greater likelihood that they won't do it in the future, as if they just thought, well, everything I did is right, but it just seems to have made you mad, so I'm not going to do that again. They're going to do it again if they don't understand why it was wrong. And I think it's our responsibility as consumers to make them understand why this is wrong. And one of the ways that you make them understand why it's wrong is you don't buy their shit anymore. And it's getting very difficult to say this out loud because there are a number of companies that take part in these types of practices, and it's very, very difficult to choose to buy from companies that don't take part in these practices. It's difficult. I understand. Trust me, I understand your aggravation, and I sympathize with the fact that it's very difficult to look out over the ecosystem and find modern products that don't take part in these types of anti-consumer practices. But the only way you're going to get any of this to change is to stop feeding the beast, and it's a very difficult thing to do. It's something that I fail at very often, and I'm trying to fail at it less as I go forward. I'm not going to criticize any of you if you fail at it, because I failed at it myself. If we want to make things change, we need to make them understand why they're wrong in the most painful way possible. And if they're not going to understand the intellectual or philosophical argument, hopefully they'll understand the financial one when people are not paying for this garbage anymore. And that's it for today. That was quite a bit of a rant. I'm going to end it because I'm probably repeating myself at this point, and I hope you learned something. I'll see you all in the next video. Bye now. Also, it's so nice to not be stuck in a fucking DX Racer chair anymore. This is so much more infinitely comfortable. I am never using that thing again. I have that thing set up as a cat. I literally put it right next to where all the cat scratching stuff is so that Mr. Clinton can just claw it away until there's no more chair. That is the least comfortable pile of crap I have ever sat on, and I was sitting on a cardboard box the first day that I moved here and set everything up. I only cooked that chair because A, it was free, and B, it was mildly more comfortable than sitting on a cardboard box filled with my things. Mildly. If you actually want a chair that's comfortable, check out Madison Seating on eBay or something like that and get yourself an Aeron chair. They are infinitely more comfortable than any of that racing chair garbage. They stand the test of time. I had these things back at 186 First Avenue when I had my store. They are absolutely great. I'll include a link to it down below if you're interested in buying from them. The chair may arrive a little scuffed or whatever, but you're getting it over half off, so don't complain. That's it for today, and as always, I'll see you in the next video. Bye now.